Hello everyone, I'm Sanjeev and I'm glad to welcome you all to my channel. In today's video, I'll explain about the modal verbs to express deduction and explanation in the first session. And I will also deal with how to use if sentence for deduction in the second session. We use a variety of modal verbs like must, can't, may, might, may not, might not for explanation and deduction. And some of these modal verbs show more or less certainty. For instance, must and can't deal with more certainty, whereas the modal verbs may not, or might not deal with less certainty, or let's say they express probability. In this video, at first, we are going to learn how to rewrite the sentences using these modal verbs. Let's see two examples beginning with I'm sure and perhaps. I'm sure he is a boy. I'm sure he was not coming. Perhaps he was going to cinema. Maybe she is not coming. The expression I'm sure deals with certainty, and if the statement is positive, we should use must. And if the statement is negative, we should use can't. Similarly, perhaps or maybe deals with probability, and if the statement is positive, we should use may, might, and if the statement is negative, we should use may not or might not. In English grammar, there is difference between may and might, but in this unit, you can use any of them. It does not make any difference. And while using these modal verbs in answer, we should remove the expressions I'm sure, perhaps, maybe. This is rule number 1. The second rule is transformation. Is MR of the question changes into be, was were into have been, verb 1, verb 5 into verb 1, and verb 2 into have plus verb 3rd. This is something very important in deduction and explanations. Having read these two basic rules, now time to use the modal verbs in the answer. I'm sure he is a boy. This statement is positive, so we are using must. Similarly, there is, and we convert is into be, and the answer is he must be a boy. In second sentence, I'm sure is negative, so we use can't, and we change was into have been. He can't have been coming. Similarly, under the heading perhaps maybe, the first question is perhaps he was going to cinema. It's positive, and we convert was into have been, and we remove perhaps, and the answer is she may have been going to cinema. Similarly, second question is perhaps he is not coming. It's negative, and we convert is into be, and we remove perhaps, and the answer is she may not be coming. These are the important questions from the perspective of board examinations, and the instruction is like change the following sentences below using must, can't, may, and might. Question number 1, I'm sure he is working. It is I'm sure positive, must, remove it, and convert is into be, and the answer is he must be working. Number 2, perhaps he was listening, positive, convert was into have been, and the answer is he may have been listening. Number 3, I'm sure she was not at work, negative, use can't, and convert was into have been. She can't have been at work. Number 4, perhaps he went home. It is past tense went, so use have plus verb 3rd. He might have gone home. In this way, you can do question number 5, 6, 7, and 8 easily. Just remember those two basic rules that we studied before doing this exercise. Now, in the second session, I'm going to talk about the use of if sentence in deduction. For instance, he can't be a teacher. He is wearing a half pant, or in British English, we call shorts. Since in this part of the world, a teacher does not go to the classroom wearing a half pant, therefore, he is not a teacher. That's what the question says. If we convert this sentence into if sentence, the answer is something like, if he was a teacher, he would not be wearing a half pant. So how to use if sentence in deduction? The thing is, in this unit, we follow mixed conditional. not the general rule of conditional sentence, but rather this unit uses the rules of mixed conditional. What are they? Let's see this. In this very example, if he was a teacher, he would not be wearing a half pant. In this very conditional sentence, there are two clauses, if clause and main clause. If clause is the clause that begins with if, for instance, if he was a teacher, and main clause is the clause that comes after comma. He would not be wearing a half pant. So when we are using if sentence for deduction, then there are certain rules that we need to follow in if clause, and there are certain rules that we need to follow in main clause. So what are the rules of if clause? Okay, if the if clause is in negative form, then we have to make it positive. If clause is positive, make it negative. And thereafter, if the if clause uses present tense, change it into past. If it uses past tense, change it into past perfect. What does that mean? It's very simple. If we have be in if clause, was where, have been, convert it into had been, verb 1, verb 5, convert it into verb 2, and if we have verb 2, convert it into had plus verb 3. And in main clause, if the main clause is positive, make it negative. If it is negative, make it positive. And thereafter we write would. After what we write the transformation that we studied in rule number 2 when we were doing the use of modal verbs. So that is, let me remind you, is mr into be, was where, have been, verb 1, verb 5, verb 1, and verb 2, have plus verb 3. See this very example. He can't be a teacher, he's wearing a half pant. The answer is if he was a teacher, because can't be, that's negative in question. So we make it positive. There is be, and we convert be into was where. And similarly, he is wearing a half pant. That is positive. In answer, we write negative, would not be. Why be? Because we convert is into be. And these are the exercises from your book. To make the understanding easy, I have put if clause and main clause rules on the left side of the screen, so you can take the help from there. And these are the questions. Question number 1, there cannot be anyone at home, the car is gone. So first if clause, there can't be anyone at home, that is negative, make it positive. Change be into, look at the screen, was where, and the car is gone, main clause, positive, make it negative. And we change is into, look at the structure, be, and the answer is if there was someone at home, the car would not be gone. And anyone is used in negative, and it's when it is used in positive statement, we make someone. Question number 2, she must know English, she was listening to the BBC. Know is verb 1, make it verb 2. She must know English is positive, make it negative. She was listening to the BBC, that's positive, make it negative. And convert was into have been, and the answer is if she did not know English, she would not have been listening to the BBC. Question number 3, he must have been here recently, the kettle is warm. Both are positive, make it negative. Convert have been into had been, as you can see under the rule of if clause. And convert is into be, and the answer is if he had not been here recently, the kettle would not be warm. Number 4, they must be having an argument, they have shut the door. Convert be into was where, that's positive, make it negative. And the second clause, they have shut the door, have is not highlighted, so have is auxiliary verb 1, so keep it as it is. And it is positive, make it negative. Then the answer is if they were not having an argument, they would not have shut the door. Number 5, he can't be a soldier, he is not wearing his uniform. Notice both clauses, if clause the first one and the main clause the second one, they are negative. So in answer we make positive, be changes into was, and is changes into be. If he was a soldier, he would be wearing his uniform. 6, he can't be working at library, I have not seen him there. So be, you can see under if clause, was where, have is verb 1, keep it as it is. And if he was working at library, the auxiliary, I would have seen him there. She can't have been enjoying herself, she left already, she left early, I'm sorry. She can't have been enjoying herself, that is negative, make it positive. Have been turns into had been, and left is verb 2, so therefore convert it into have plus verb 3rd. But she left early is positive, make it negative. And the answer is if she had been enjoying herself, she would not have left early. And finally, number 8 is they must have got lost. They are not here. Have is verb 1. Have past tense is had. They must have got lost is positive. Make it negative. They are not here yet. That is negative. Make it positive. And we convert are into be. As you can see under the rule of main clause, if they had not got lost, they would be here already. This brings us to the end of today's video. If you have not subscribed my channel yet, hit the bell icon, subscribe my channel, and get the notification for the latest updates. Thanks for watching.